Yung mga first level hospitals, hindi na ho sila mag-avail ng accreditation for second level because pare-pareho naman ang bayad natin eh. Pare-pareho naman yung package na binabayad. President, para ibangga ko lang po Mr. Chair dito sa notes na meron ako, sa datos na meron po ako. Yes, Mr. Chair, pwede po natin kilalanin si ano? Limsiaco. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Limsiaco.
Opo, nakita po natin yung figure that Honorable Representative Adjong mentioned. Mr. Chair, this is the other professional services. Breakdown po siya ng MOE in the year 2023 in the amount of 580 million pesos. So ito po ay ang expenses po na incurred ng corporation in the hiring of job orders po.
Okay.
JO po, offices at sa head office in delivering the services po.
Gusto ko lang malaman, so this has nothing to do with how we manage our investment funds, no?
Yes
Just
po.
categorical lang po. Gusto ko po
Yes
malaman.
po.
We don't hire other extra service personnel to help us with how do we manage our investment funds. Tama po ba?
Yes
Tama
po,
ba yun?
Mr. Chair, Honorable Adjong.
Gusto ko
Will
lang
help
po
lang po.
Okay.
Treasury Department po ang mahawak po.
Okay. Kanina po, Press Mandy, you also mentioned about the investment po dun sa ano, no? I'm sorry, Ed. Na-disrupt ko po ata yung ano nyo. Yung pag-invest niya sa time deposits, no? Nag-invest po tayo sa mga time deposits or dun lang po sa mga...
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
yeah.
We have, to give you the complete details, so we have special savings deposits sa land bank po, roughly around 64 billion. That comprises around 20% of our total investments. And the days to maturity ranges from 2 to 155 days po.
Mr. Chair, kasi meron din po ako ng kopya. Gusto ko lang po ipa-confirm sa PhilHealth.
Yes
no?
po.
Kasi basically, ang purpose naman ng hearing na ito is to brief us, no? So we would like to know the exact amount of each of the PhilHealth's funds, no? Yung investment funds. Gusto ko lang po malaman if it really coincides with the figures that I have. Anyway, ito naman po ay galing po naman sa audited financial statements po ng PhilHealth noong 2023. May na-invest po ang PhilHealth, no? Dito po sa datos ko, sa time deposits, no? Both local and foreign time deposits po yung ano natin, ang na-investan natin, nagkakahalaga, I don't know kung asan dito, 135 billion 604 million 790 and 55,000 pesos. I don't know if this is a deposit, time deposit. Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. No, pinapakuha ko. Kasi, Mr. Chair,
These are all, I think these are both foreign in foreign currency. And
no, understood, Mr. Chair. The thing is, what the figures I'm giving you kasi, Mr. Chair, is as of December 31, 2024.
So
kaya
that's
hindi
more,
tayo nagmamatch eh. Oo.
Kaya that's a more updated.
More updated.
Okay,
More recent po.
Better.
Yes.
Oo.
Actually, maybe, Mr. Chair, we can give you a copy.
Yeah, please.
We give you a copy now, Mr. Chair, kasi this is more recent naman.
Yes.
And it's all
Okay.
explained. This is just a one-pager.
Yeah. Paano po yung ano nyo, yung how do you arrive into deciding how much percent of the reserve funds that you will invest? May nagkakaroon po yan ng bidding in terms of which one offers a much higher rate, because I guess magmamatter po yung rate niyan eh, di ba?
Yes,
Kung sa may bidding din po yan kung sino po pwede mag-offer the best na magbe-benefit ng PhilHealth. So in terms of rate, how do you decide on that and how do you arrive into putting up this certain amount? Meron po kayong guidelines dyan or is it
Yes,
decided by the board? Sige po.
Yes po. Number one, yung guidelines po, Mr. Chair, kung Representative Adjong, ay set up po siya and approved by the board yung ating palisiya. And ang pinalagakan po ng ating investment ay government securities. Kung may available po na po pwede po natin papasukan na investment sa government securities, yun ang pinapasok po natin because number one, sigurado po tayo because gobyerno yung pinapasukan po natin. On the part naman ng special savings deposit po, araw-araw po kumukuha kami ng quotation sa bangko. So dalawang bangko po to, government man ito, Land Bank at saka DBP, kung saan ang mas mataas na offer po sa atin, doon po natin pinapasok yung ating pondo. Yung special savings deposit po ay ang importante po to because any time of the day kung may pangangailangan tayo
pwedeng i-withdraw.
magbabayad, automatically yun po yung pambayad natin
Apa-
sa ating benefit payment po. Sa information po ng lahat po, this week po, 4.8 billion pesos po ang ating pinapalabas na pondo. Last week po, nasa 4.6 billion po yung pondo na pinapalabas po natin pambayad sa ating mga health facilities po.
Okay, ganito na lang po, Mr. Chair, para mapapabilis na po ang ating hearing, no? Anyway, briefing naman po ito. Nais ko lang pong mag-request nung nasabing mga dokumento. I think mas updated po yung kanila dahil kaysa may datos ng hawak ko po ngayon. Yung sa investment in time deposits, pwede pong paki-furnish ang committee na ito. Meron din po kayong investment securities, no? At yung sinabi niyo po kanina, Mandy, yung mga stock in bonds, treasury bonds, do you have also in the corresponding amount that you have invested?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can give you the corresponding amount now, then we can give you to follow the breakdown of
Yes,
each
please.
specific bond, no?
Okay.
Sa corporate bonds, Mr. Chair, the total investment amount is roughly 16 billion. That represents 3.28% of total. Roughly 50% into properties and 50% into banking. Now, the breakdown of the specific company names, we can furnish you within the day po a copy, no? And how much per name, how much investment per name.
You also identified the press, Mandy, at 3 areas, no? Sabi, mayroon pang pa yung banking,
So, Mr. Chair, special savings deposits, yan yung
Yes.
unang area. So, yan, land bank tsaka DBP po. And then the second topic is the government securities po, broken down into treasury bills and treasury bonds po. Then the third one is corporate bonds, broken down into properties and banking po.
Okay. So, thank you very much. Expect lang po namin itong mga documents
Yes
na
po,
ito.
within the day po, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, let me go to another topic po, Mr. Chairman, Press Mandy. Kanina po nakikinig po ako sa pinag-usapan kanina. Actually, yung questions ni Congressman Suan. Hindi lang ho ito limited yung kanyang issue within his district, but it is being felt all over the country. In fact, yung na-mention yung out-of-pocket expenses ng ating mga pasyente, talagang gusto natin ang PhilHealth ay maging responsive. Meaning to say, pag sinesponsive ay yung talagang intention ng batas ng Universal Care Health Act ay maibigay natin. That's why napag-usapan nga po, nagkaroon ng medyo apprehension or yung fear ng ating mga publiko nung napag-usapan about the zero subsidy. Tama ho ba? And I thank President Mandy for coming out with this statement na tama po ba yung pagkabasa ko dun sa statement ninyo na may enough funding naman ang PhilHealth despite the zero subsidy para tugunan yung mga pangangailangan ng ating mga members at contributors at ating mga kababayan. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct. And just to add to that, we are financially healthy.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was premising my questions on how you manage the funds of all the members, no? Saan yung nilalagay yung mga pondo? Kasi that would also spell out how yung financial vitality ng PhilHealth para mag-respondi po sa pangangailangan. Now, I'd just like to ask, connect ko lang po kanina sa questions po kanina ni Congressman Suan. Aware po ang PhilHealth ng mga cases where ang patient, kasi nangyayari po ito and I have talked with several of my constituents, pag sila po ay lalabas ng hospital and ask for a billing, pag hindi nila sinabi na PhilHealth, mababa yung medical bills. The moment that they mention that they are a member of PhilHealth, nag-iiba yung billing medical bills. Are you aware of this? Because this is something controversial. I'm
Mr.
talking
Chair.
about yung 10%. Is that correct? Let me ask again, ASEC. Meron kang na-breakdown na percentage yung sinishell out ng government assistance doon sa ating mga pasyente, yung MAIP, etc. 10%, kumbaga kung 100, PhilHealth is paying 10 pesos.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. So, if that would be the case, and with all these complaints that I'm receiving from my constituents, is PhilHealth aware of this? That once they request for a billing for discharge, pag di-discharge po nila, pag sinabi nilang members sila PhilHealth, medyo tataas daw. I just want to know from PhilHealth, kung are they aware of these complaints? Do they know that there's some, I would call this exploitation ng ating mga pasyente? Can we hear from PhilHealth? What's the response?
Mr. Chairperson. Mr. Attorney Santos.
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Adjong, I have heard reports, similar reports as manifested even before the effectivity of the universal healthcare, because at that time we have certain requirements for premium contribution before a member can avail of PhilHealth benefits. But at present, those similar reports are very rare, considering that everyone, all Filipinos, are already considered members and can avail anytime of PhilHealth benefits, Mr. Chairperson. But before the effectivity of the universal healthcare, there were reports. In fact, I received similar reports before, Mr. Chairperson. Honorable
So what did you
Representative
do with that?
So we conducted investigation, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Adjong, but the reports turned out that indeed there was a difference, but still the patient or member was able to avail of PhilHealth benefits, Mr. Chairperson. Upon submission to the provider,
When did you hear about this complaint? How long ago?
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Adjong, I was investigator of PhilHealth Regional Office 11 until 2015. So there were reports, similar reports during that time. Again, before the effectivity of the universal healthcare. At present, I have not received similar reports, Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Adjong, because of the universality of the UHC right now. All Filipinos are considered
Yeah, but
members.
apparently, Mr. Chair, the same problems, ngayon lang sinabi mo in 2015, the same complaints and the same problems have reached the attention of this representation. That's why it's very alarming. I think the PhilHealth needs to do something about this. And maybe in the next committee hearing, I would require, Mr. Chair, a assessment or report on this, no? Kasi sabi mo, this has been happening ever nung panahon pa, pero Attorney Santos, nangyayari pa hanggang ngayon. So gusto ko lang po magkaroon ng konkreto na measures. Nag-investigate, pina-investigate niyo po ba ito?
Mr. Chairperson, Honorable Representative Adjong, yes, sir. We conduct investigation on all complaints filed in PhilHealth, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay.
Honorable Representative Adjong.
Thank you. I think for my last two lang, Mr. Chair, just wanna, again, gusto ko lang po din tanungin kanina, yung case rate po na sinasabi ni Congressman Suan at saka ni Congressman Janet Garin. Yung determination po, yung pagbabayad po nung klaseng medical services, base po doon sa, halimbawa, sa disease or sakit, no? Flat rate po ba ito? Halimbawa, kung pneumonia, tapos nag-avail ka ng isang medical assistance, first, yung based on yung licensing accreditation level ng hospital ay na-acquire lang niya is level 1. And then, kung halimbawa, yung packages na binibigay natin sa ibang levels of hospitals, flat rate lang ba ito halimbawa? Halimbawa sa pneumonia, kung halimbawa, for example, 15,000, the same lang din sa level 1, level 2, level 3 na hospitals, flat rate ito?
Mr. Chair, before I allow Doc Ish to give you the details of your query, I just want to highlight to this committee yung case rates. So there are a total of around 9,000 case packages. Now, we did last year on February 14, we did a 30% increase almost across the board. And then last month, we did an additional 50% to the 30% increase almost across the board. Dahil compounded yan, that's a total of 95% increase on almost all of the 9,000 case rate packages. Now, with regards to your query, Mr. Chair, if I can ask Doc Ish to...
Maybe, yes, President Mandy, ang gusto ko lang pong malaman, I'm not asking you about the percentage of how much or the volume of patients that already been serviced by the packages. I'm asking about kasi yung ibabangga ko ito dun sa out-of-pocket expenses ng sariling tao, pasyente. Halimbawa, pumunta ako sa isang tertiary level hospitals. Of course, we expect a more advanced in medical care, mas mahal kasi meron silang equipments, etc. Tapos, kung flat rate lang, halimbawa, pneumonia, 15,000, example lang. And then I availed of other services because tertiary level hospitals are more equipped with other services. They have far more advanced compared to the secondary, tertiary. naturally, mas mahal yung ibabayad ng pasyente. Ang tanong ko lang, kung flat rate siya, at kailangan kung mas malaki yung out-of-pocket expenses na isang pasyente, hindi naman ako po pwedeng, or kung doon naman ako sa primary, yung pangangailangan na kailangan kong medical attention, hindi naman nila may bibigay. So wala akong choice but to go to a more tertiary level hospital. So gusto ko lang po malaman, what determines, for example, PhilHealth to decide on having a flat rate case? Kasi ang sa akin, naiisip ko, maybe we can rationalize it depending on the level of hospitals and the capacity of health facilities so that hindi masyadong malaki. Halimbawa, kung pupunta ako ng isang tertiary hospitals, di ba? Para maramdaman na yung ating mga members, yung pinibigay talaga na serbisyo ng PhilHealth para ma-cover nila. Kasi kung ang sakit ko requires me to avail of a more advanced medical, say for example, assistance, kung kailangan ko ng mga oxygen, halimbawa, etc. Dahil wala naman, hindi naman yan available sa primary, sa infirmary, sa secondary, natural, doon ako pupunta. Pero flat rate yung kanyang pagbabayad sa mga hospital, regardless whether you're primary, secondary, tertiary. So, kumbaga, have you ever decided maybe rationalizing the case, the new expenses and the subsidies and the packages that you are shouldering for these patients according to the capacity of medical facilities?
Actually, Mr. Chair, that's an excellent question. Dr. Ish heads our health finance policy sector. He's in charge of all of these case packages. Now, Doc Ish, can you address the query?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, Representative ADIONG. Our case rates po right now, as we rationalize, review, and expand, ang main dependency po natin would be the standard protocol and the standard treatment for any illness. Like what we did for example, with the pneumonia, when we rationalized the rates for high-risk pneumonia, nakabase po siya doon po sa standard treatment and treatment protocols, kung ano po yung mga gamot na kinakailangan, kung ano yung mga laboratories na kinakailangan, at yun po yung kinost natin, and the costing came from the hospitals. Kung kaya't yun pong ating high-risk pneumonia right now is increased from 32,000 to 90,100.
So what you're telling me is, Doc, what you're telling me is that yung pag-subsidize nyo, pagbigay ng mga packages nito para sa mga pasyente, ay hindi siya flat rate.
Flat rate po siya, but ang basis po natin in coming out the rate
Yeah, but that's the
is
point,
the treatment guidelines.
Yes, but that's the point that I'm trying to drive at. And kasi medyo mahal nga yung ibabayad na ating mga pasyente kung mag-avail sila ng services. Sino ba naman nang may sakit ng ayaw na mas magandang serbisyo, hindi ba? Kaya ka nga pupunta kasi some patients have no choice but to avail of the services offered by the tertiary level hospitals because infirmary and first level I cannot afford that. They don't have the necessary equipments and the medicines na kinakailangan ng pasyente. So that's why they have no choice but to avail of the services in tertiary hospitals. If it's flat rate, then go back to the question of out-of-pocket expenses. Mas mahal lang yun to also include possibly yung consideration ng mga capability ng mga health facilities natin para naman maibsan yung out-of-pocket expenses ng ating mga pasyente. Maybe you can, this is a recommendation. Maybe you can decide on that. Is that a fair assessment? Or is that a bad suggestion?
Mr. Chair, it's not a bad suggestion. However, one of the principles under the social health insurance is, of course, the equity. And nakalagay din po sa batas that we should be paying for the minimum standards of care, of quality of
Anong batas
healthcare.
po ito?
Nasa atin pong UHC po.
Okay, which specific provisions in the end so that we can review?
I will provide, Mr. Chair, sorry.
I don't think the Universal Care Act wants to at least
Yun nga, hindi ko alam sa minimum standards. So, check mo lang kayo.
limit the packages or to kasi that would tantamount that's the opposite. I think what you're saying is the opposite of the intention of the UHC. Kung if I get what you're driving at, yung point po. Kasi ang intention talaga ng Universal Healthcare Act is para matulungan ang karamihan sa ating mga nilang matulungan pero at least maibsan yung out-of-pocket expenses po niya. Hindi ba yun ang pinaka-spirito ng Universal Healthcare Act? Hindi ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's why po, yung katulad po dun sa binabanggit ko sa pneumonia, ang atin pong magiging case rates is based on the treatment protocols. At yun pong ating costing na ginawa po is coming from the secondary and tertiary hospitals na kung saan sila po yung naging basis ng coming out with our healthcare cost. Kaya po lumabas na ngayon na 90,100 yung ating benefit.
I'll give you a specific example po, President Mandis, para po ma-consider ninyo itong suggestion ko. Galing po ako sa isang rural area sa Mindanao. Karamihan po dyan, paswerte po kami, may Amay Pakpak Medical Center, but I'm talking about 39 municipalities. Ilan lang po mga first level hospitals dyan. The tendency is that, minsan, yung flat rate kasi, yung mga first level hospitals, hindi na ho sila mag-avail ng accreditation for second level because pare-pareho naman ang bayad natin eh. Pare-pareho naman yung package na binabayad. So sometimes it becomes a deterrent for this hospital to upgrade its services, which is detrimental to the health requirement ng mga constituents. Yun po yung nangyayari sa akin. That's why I'm suggesting to PhilHealth, maybe you can also explore more on how we can assist the patients doon sa issue ng out-of-pocket expenses. I don't know how you can go about with this, but I think this is not a bad suggestion. Would you consider this as a fair assessment?
Actually, Mr. Chair, it's not a bad suggestion. In fact, it's actually a good suggestion. So, Mr. Chair, maybe we can discuss this internally. We'll take a closer look into it. Actually, we welcome all inputs and suggestions and comments, no? So, we hear you. We hear your suggestion. It sounds, to me personally, it sounds like a good suggestion. So, maybe we will discuss it with the team and look into it and see how we can move forward with your suggestion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, President Mandy. Paki-cite po yung specific provisions under Universal Healthcare Act po para ma-review natin. Baka naman din may limit din ng batas, di natin alam kung paano natin ma-explore yung possibility na ganun. Thank you po, Mr. Chairman, at thank you po, PhilHealth, for
We'll look into it, sir.
Thank you
Chair.
very much.
Thank you. The next interpellator is Congressman Ortega.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Alam naman po natin na kahit ano pong preparasyon ng budget, syempre, it takes good fiscal management po, no? So, naiintindihan po natin na importante po yung paggamit ng pondo, yung utilization rate / yung burn rate po natin, naiintindihan po natin. Sir, Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of our chairman, maaari po ba natin na i-request po para sa isi-schedule po natin na committee hearing natin na makuha po natin yung comparative na utilization rates po for the past 6 years, Sir Mandy, yung previous administration saka yung current administration for the past 3 years para ma-compare po natin at saka makita po yung utilization rate po ng bawat taon. Kasi nga po, if I may read lang po, yung sa deliberation po ng proposed 2025 budget po under DOF Secretary Ralph Recto ay nasabi po na pati yung past administration opted to utilize the PhilHealth funds opted na imbis na gamitin po ay humiram po tayo ng pera ng previous administration. So parang ang unutilized funds po ng previous was amounting to 89.9 billion. So maganda po na makita to. Siguro when we present this during the hearing, parang table lang naman po, comparative lang po siya na table. Kasi, I think that's where the problem was nung nag-decide po na hindi mabigyan po ng pondo itong PhilHealth for the next year. Siyempre, titignan mo po kahit anong budget pa po yan, kahit anong pondo naman po yan. Kung hindi nagpe-perform o nagamit ng maigi, doon po talaga nagkakaproblema kasi nagdadalawang isip sila kung kailangan pa bang bigyan ng pondo itong organisasyon na to, itong department na to, hindi naman nila magamit na maigi yung mga pondo. Sir, hindi ko na po dadagdagan yung mga questions ko kasi some were already taken up kanina. But again, may I request po sa COMSEC na rin na ma-prepare po yung documents na yun so that we can see parang may matrix po para mas madali pong ma-appreciate yung susunod po na hearing natin.
Yeah. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
President LEDESMA.
Yes, we will be prepared to present it in the next committee hearing to the honorable committee. For the next hearing po, submit na namin. So basically, just to clarify, Mr. Chair, it's 6 years utilization rate, no? So during the 4 years of PRRD and then the 2 years of PBBM, no? We will comply, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all.
Thank you. The next interpolator is the Honorable Rodriguez. Gutierrez, sorry.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Gutierrez.
If I had the charisma of the good congressman from CDO, okay na rin po sana. But good afternoon po, PCO LEDESMA, and of course our SVPs together with our COO. Just a few questions lang po. No? I was hoping to ask our co-representatives, because of course we're going throughout the, although this is not budget review anymore, but it was stemmed from the removal of the subsidy po, no? So we really wanted to get into the finances, but unfortunately, wala po tayong representative COA, so I'll just make this very brief. Just a few points lang po siguro. First and foremost, coming from where CONG's ADIONG was coming from, I'd just like to ask, from the options, you've selected only 3 areas po, and I'm sure they're very competitive. You wouldn't settle for anything less. These are all tax-free po ba?
Mr. Chair, to answer your question, yes on all. However, on the corporate bond side, we're just double checking. But definitely on the special savings deposits, on the government securities, treasury bills, lahat po yan tax-free. Ka-clarify po lang namin yung sa corporate bonds.
Maybe we'll just find,
Yes.
if you could ask your people po siguro, and
Yes.
just update us later.
Yes.
We'll move on to another
Will
point.
do, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
PCO, so tax-free naman po mostly, and tama ba the percentages that you mentioned earlier was that for the savings, so yung savings po natin yung parang time deposit. And yet this is, I'm quite confused because under the UHCA, we have our reserved funds, tama po. And anything, this is supposed to be for the 2 years reservation. Anything that is not spent, yun na po dapat yung investment fund. Now, based on our contributions, it's around 200 plus billion, tama po, no? And the expenses last, we're basing po kasi on 2023, that's what they have. So I hope you'll bear with us, it's not the 2024 AFS that you have. So for 2023, it was around 180 billion yung cost. At the time po, ano po yung 2-year reserve fund estimate po natin for 2023? Tama po, no? The UHCA, the Universal Healthcare Act was already in place. 2018 pa lang po, that was signed into law,
Yes,
no?
Mr. Chair. Yes.
So by then, we should already have had an estimate kung magkano po yung reserve fund
Yes, Mr.
at the
Chair.
time. Okay.
Mr. Chair, our reserve fund actually December 31, 2023